An oak table glowed under dim light inside a guarded compound in Tehran. A few feet away, senior intelligence officers sat silently, listening to the voice of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. He had taken power in 1989 after the death of Ruhollah Khomeini. At the time, many believed another cleric would become the next leader of Iran. But somehow, mysteriously, his name appeared, and against all expectations, he became the supreme leader. Even today, some still questioned how that happened. His beard glowed faintly under the dim lights in the quiet night of Tehran. In a few minutes, the world would wake up to news that would shake the balance of power across the Middle East. He slammed his fist violently on the oak table. "Find her!" Documents flew across the table as generals and security officers watched in silence. "It could happen tonight," he said, trying to steady his voice. "And I wonder how long it will take you just to find a common woman." A year earlier, in 2025, the United States had struck Iran's nuclear facility. The mission was meant to destroy Iran's uranium enrichment capability. But unknown to the United States, the facility had already been moved elsewhere. The supreme leader mocked the attack publicly, but deep down he knew something troubling. Someone inside Iran had leaked the layout of the facility to his enemies. As the generals discussed retaliation against the United States, a guard quietly approached and handed him a small piece of paper. He unfolded it slowly. Inside was an old photograph. It showed him as a young cleric standing beside another man, a man who had died mysteriously in a hospital 2 months before the leadership transition in 1989. He stared at the crumpled paper and looked up, almost as if expecting something to fall from the sky. His eyes grew misty. Memories were returning. Memories known only to one family, the Darvishi family. They were the only family that knew how he came to power. He had not been the most powerful cleric then. They knew what happened to the man who was supposed to become Iran's next supreme leader. That man died suddenly, and Ali Khamenei took his place. He had seen that same image 39 years earlier. That was when the hunt began, the hunt for the Darvishi family. Year after year, members of the family died mysteriously, some in car accidents, some from poison. Others were ruled suicides. But among veterans of the rumors, there were whispers. Those deaths were not accidents. They warned their children quietly, never speak against the supreme leader. But the killings continued, from continent to continent. Every Darvishi was eliminated, except one. Just a few feet away from him sat the last survivor of the family he had tried to erase. They called her the Ghost. Her real name was Sara Darvishi, but inside the room she was known as Layla, an intelligence officer working with Iran's Supreme Intelligence Council. She watched as the meeting stretched deep into the night. Members of the supreme leader's own family were present. "I swore on my life," he said softly, "none of them should still be alive. And yet she lives. Now our country is no longer safe." Iranian intelligence had received reports that Israel and the United States were preparing a new military operation. The supreme leader was convinced the last Darvishi was involved. "But if they succeed in taking my life," he said slowly, "make sure they suffer. Unleash Iran's drones. Strike their allies. Let them feel the pain." He glanced toward his daughter and her husband seated nearby. A small smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "Excuse me," Layla said quietly. She looked at the clock behind him. She was sitting barely 3 feet away. "I need to use the restroom." She spoke calmly in Persian. No one stopped her. She stood and walked toward the door. "Where is she going?" someone whispered. "Let her go," another replied. "She is a woman." Outside, Sara stepped into the dark courtyard. One of the supreme leader's trusted spies followed her. She pretended not to notice. She pulled out a cigarette, lit it slowly. That was the signal. Moments later, the night sky exploded. 2 missiles fell from the darkness and struck the meeting hall. The explosion tore through the compound. By the morning of March 1st, 2026, the news spread across Iran. Ali Khamenei was dead. But the question remained, why? Layla had been trusted. She had been trained by Iranian intelligence itself. Why would she betray her country? The truth began decades earlier. Sara's family had witnessed something terrible just days before Khamenei became supreme leader. They were historians and scholars of Iran's political history. They had watched Khomeini overthrow the monarchy in 1979, and they knew who was supposed to succeed him. But that man died mysteriously. The Darvishi family knew the truth. They swore to expose it. But before they could speak, Ali Khamenei became supreme leader, and the hunt began. Sara escaped as a young girl, barely 4 years old, too young to understand what had happened, but old enough to remember the promise: avenge her family. For 30 years she waited. She grew. She learned. She became a double agent, working within Iranian intelligence. While secretly cooperating with the CIA, her mission was simple: kill the man who destroyed her family. As the smoke cleared above Tehran, Sara vanished again, a ghost once more. But Iran would not surrender quietly. Missiles and drones were launched across the Gulf. Oil prices soared. Global markets trembled. A new war had begun. 1 week later, Sara moved quietly toward the border of Mejigmen. A CIA extraction team was waiting. But when she arrived, they were all dead. A kamikaze drone had destroyed the entire team. Only ashes remained. She stood in silence. Ahead of her, a poor Syrian family was traveling with donkeys. She approached them and asked for help crossing the border. They hesitated, but eventually they helped her. That night, they gave her food and shelter. By morning, she woke to find herself surrounded by Iranian security forces. The man had sold her for $1,000. She was now the most wanted woman in Iran. But before they could interrogate her fully, a familiar sound echoed above: a fighter jet. Everyone looked up. And in that moment of chaos, Sara Darvishi disappeared once again.